The BRAT diet is often prescribed for adults and children with gastroenteritis, which is an infection of the intestines, also known as stomach flu. However, the BRAT diet has been criticized for being overly restrictive. In this video, I'm looking at whether it's appropriate during recovery from digestive illness or not. BRAT is an acronym for bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast, which are the main foods that make up the diet. It's prescribed for both children and adults with stomach flu because the foods it contains are bland, easy to digest, and may help with reducing nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. The first mention of the BRAT diet was nearly a century ago in a 1926 report. The report described the diet's use for children with intestinal illness involving severe diarrhea and dehydration. But despite its widespread use over the past century, there has been very little research on the BRAT diet to support its efficacy. Foods to eat and avoid on the BRAT diet. The BRAT diet only allows a few foods and liquids, although they can be consumed in unlimited quantities depending on your appetite. So foods allowed on the BRAT diet are bananas, white rice, applesauce, toast made from white bread, and soda crackers, clear liquids including water, weak tea, broth, juice, electrolyte containing beverages like sports drinks, and soda that's flat and caffeine free. Foods to avoid on the BRAT diet: meat, fish, poultry and eggs, dairy products, fruits other than bananas and applesauce, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans and legumes, beverages that contain caffeine, and carbonated beverages. Advantages of the BRAT diet. Although there is no direct evidence supporting the BRAT diet's ability to reduce diarrhea, it does appear that bananas might be helpful. Bananas may act as a binding agent and provide other anti-diarrhea effects. In a study of tube-fed hospitalized patients, 57% of those who received banana flakes in their feedings were diarrhea-free at the end of the study, compared to 24% of patients who received medical treatment instead. In this study of more than 2,900 children with acute diarrhea, they found 80% of those who received green bananas experienced resolution of diarrhea within 3 days, compared to 53% of children who did not eat green bananas. It appears that green or unripe bananas are particularly effective at reducing diarrhea. They contain resistant starch, which may help increase the gut's ability to reabsorb water and nutrients, which can be very beneficial during episodes of diarrhea. The BRAT diet also only consists of easy to digest foods that are unlikely to irritate the gut or cause nausea during digestive illness. Disadvantages of the BRAT diet. I guess the main disadvantage is that it doesn't provide the appropriate nutrition that people who are recovering from digestive illness actually need. These individuals are already nutritionally depleted from things like vomiting and diarrhea and just poor appetite. This is especially concerning for children and the frail elderly, who are more likely to become malnourished and are at greater risk of repeated illness than strong, healthy individuals are. The BRAT diet is very low in protein, fat, and other nutrients that are needed for proper healing. In one study, researchers analysed the nutritional content of the usual diet of a 2-year-old versus the nutrition of the BRAT diet. Now, they reported the following: 300 fewer calories on the BRAT diet. It also had 70% less protein and 80% less fat. Now, the BRAT diet was also shown to provide far less than the reference daily intake for key nutrients involved in healing. 12% of the RDI for vitamin A, no vitamin B12, and 12% for calcium. Although the BRAT diet is intended to be followed for no longer than 2 days, there are many reports of children staying on this diet for as long as it takes to resolve the diarrhea symptoms. In 1998, researchers reported the case of 2 young children who followed the BRAT diet for 2 weeks and developed severe malnutrition due to insufficient protein and calorie intake. The nutritional inadequacy of the BRAT diet has been acknowledged by many major organizations, who now recommend that children resume a normal, age-appropriate diet within 24 hours of getting sick, which includes lean meat, yogurt, eggs, fruits, and vegetables. Pediatricians and other experts now believe the BRAT diet is unnecessarily restrictive for treating digestive illness. For healthy adults, following it for a few days is unlikely to cause any problems, but there is no evidence that it will help improve your symptoms quicker. For children and the elderly, resuming a proper diet as soon as possible is strongly recommended to regain strength, ensure proper healing, and prevent any risk of malnutrition. Instead, aim to avoid foods that worsen diarrhea, such as fried or spicy foods. Be sure to have adequate water intake, and do eat bananas because they seem to help firm up loose stools. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative, And don't forget to subscribe to the Authority Nutrition YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button below this video.